What's going on, everybody? How are we doing today? This beautiful day. Let's see. Today's the what is it? Thursday. Just checking my calendar. It is. I've always got to check the calendar. I just code so much. I get in the zone and I forget the days of the week. But yeah, it's all good. How we doing? Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. What's going on? Who do we have here? We've got Barar Mathan. I don't know. Man Rundle, um, Splitsy. What's going on? Shafgram, Jani Scarrel, something like that. What's up? How's it going? TikTok. We've got Menor, something. Ed's name. Raul Sanchez. I said that weird. Welcome everybody. Chili Dude, Double O. How we doing, YouTube? Make some noise. If you're stoked out of your mind to be here, write stoked in the comments below. Um, yes, Anonymous5, Anonymous. Oh, wait, no. It's not Anonymous5. It's Anonymous. Yes, I'm taking questions. I always take questions. I love answering questions. We're going to be talking today about how to get better at coding. And then we're also, I take questions every stream about, how to get started as a beginner developer, questions about different technology stacks, where to learn, free resources, things like that. So yeah, all good. So for those of you who don't know me, stoked to have you here in the first place. I'm Jason. I'm a full stack developer here at DevSlopes. DevSlopes is a learn to code company. So I get to build internal projects for the company. I primarily work in the MERN stack, which is Mongo, Express, React, and Node. Lots of fun. I love React. I'm super passionate about it. And we've got DevSlopes. Since we're a learn to code company, I have the pleasure of working with students, helping them learn web development. And then I help them take those skills and show them and mentor them how they can make money with those skills, putting them to practical use, whether that's freelancing or getting a job. So yeah, that's what we do here at DevSlopes. We make it happen. All right. It's all about helping our students become successful. All right. So yeah, if you have questions, go ahead and drop those below. I just quickly wanted to cover something that I get asked often, which is, I've got students in the academy who are learning how to code, and I get questions from other people all the time, like, how do you get better at coding? Like, I'm going through the tutorials, I'm building out some projects here and there, but how do you just get better as a developer? And I'm a self-taught developer, okay? I've been doing this, I've been coding for 6-7 years ish, somewhere around there, I forget. But along my path, along my journey being self-taught, there's a couple of key factors that I learned that made major differences in how I progressed as a programmer and developed my skills. So one of the first things that I recognized as I was learning to code is the most amazing learning and progress that I ever made in coding was when I actually started to build my own projects. I was stuck in what's commonly known as tutorial hell, all right, where you're a beginner and you just spend way too much time in tutorials. You're watching video after video after video, doing little tutorial projects one after the other. And the problem with that, the reason why my learning was slowed down so much is because I'm just following along with someone who's instructing me. All right, I'm not using my brain and learning how to think programmatically to solve problems. And once I, finally stepped away, cut ties with the tutorials, and started building my own projects, like I'd Google ideas like good beginner full stack projects, web development, and get a list of ideas. And then I'd have to go and plan that out. How am I going to build this project? How is the architecture of it going to be? What kind of services do I need? How should I organize files and whatnot? And then I had to go to Google and find solutions to specific things that I was trying to solve. All right. And that's when my learning just went through the roof, is when I was doing projects. Another thing that will really help a lot with your learning is coding challenges. All right. So there's websites like there's I think it's called HackerRank. There's Code Wars, or maybe it's Code Ninja. There's Project Euler. There's different websites, all right, that you can take different coding challenges. And even though the challenges itself might not be practical in real world situations, what it does do is it forces you to think creatively. all right, to solve a unique, interesting problem. All right. So before I came here to DevSlopes, I was a full stack engineer at Dell Computers, all right, for several years. And so I was always working in the same realm of things. We were using React, we were doing the MERN stack with the project that I was working on. And since everything is very similar and just lives in this one sphere of things, I kind of like lost the creative edge for solving problems because there's certain patterns that we were building out in Dell at Dell Computers for the software. And so going back and doing coding challenges helped re-spark that creative solution problem solving type of stuff. All right. So coding challenges is one thing. The last thing that I wish I had as a self-taught developer, this would have helped so much, is having some type of a mentor or a coach. Just having somebody I could go to as I'm learning to get some clarity or some direction, because I spent a lot of time going down rabbit holes, learning things that weren't practical and useful that helped me succeed as a developer. So when I worked at Dell, for an example, let's see, I started Dell. I would say I was like an intermediate programmer. Like I was good in everything. I'd been coding for about 3 or 4 years at the time. But at Dell Computers, that's where I went from a front end engineer to full stack, and I was able to mentor with the senior backend developer and just these other senior developers that I worked with on my team. And I learned so much. It was really the first time that I worked on a team large enough where I could just kind of go to people and ask some questions and get some clarity on things. And my learning and skills just blew through the roof because I had somebody there to mentor with and to ask questions about things. So it was amazing, and it changed everything about the way that I learn and that I was able to, solve problems in programming. And it would have been super cool if I had that in the very beginning days when I was first learning to code. That would have helped so much and would have saved me loads of time. And so here at DevSlopes, that's one of the reasons why I really enjoy working here at DevSlopes, because I am able to work with students who are doing this self-taught path. Like I've been there. I know the struggle, and doing it on your own, it sucks. It sucks to do it on your own. And so that's why I really enjoy mentoring and coaching these students to help save them time and work with them so they can, be successful programmers. Now, I'm not saying you need a mentor or a coach. You can definitely do it on your own, but it's rough and it can be very discouraging at times. So if anybody is interested in some mentorship, coaching and whatnot, you can always go to devslopes.com/apply. I'd be stoked out of my mind to work with you. That'd be awesome. But yeah, go check it out. All right. But those are my 3 tips how to get better at coding. All right. So the first one is build projects. Okay. Force yourself out of tutorials and learn how to think programmatically to solve problems. Okay. Do coding challenges. Okay. Number 2. All right. To give yourself a way to creatively solve things, to come up with creative solutions to solving problems. And then 3, if you can, in some way, one way or another, try to find a coach or a mentor, just somebody that you can go to and ask questions to get clarity. It'll save you time and help you understand things much quicker versus going down rabbit holes trying to figure out or find the right answer on the internet. All right, so that's just some tips that I've learned in my coding journey, how to get better at coding. But let's go ahead and take some questions. So if you have questions about where to start as a beginner, what programming languages or technologies you should learn, questions about freelance jobs, whatnot, go ahead and drop some comments below, and I'm going to get to those right now. So we're going to start with YouTube, then we're going to move to TikTok, and then Instagram, okay? All right, YouTube, what's going on? Let's see. Louch, yes, how to get better at coding. We just covered some things. You want to join Max Speed, go to devslopes.com/apply. We've got tons of different pricing options. All right. And get set up with it's a free call. Just talk to one of our career coaches, ask questions about the academy. We have the whole curriculum laid out, and then just ask about different pricing options. There's a lot of different pricing options. And we might still have some of the Black Friday deals still going on and rolling out throughout this week. I'm not sure, but go check it out. Let's see, Lord Kabu, what are some good projects to start? So I would do anything full stack. All right. So that means, okay, well, let's actually talk about some front end projects. That's really good. One of my most favorite front end projects, so it doesn't deal with an API or anything, it really forces you to think creatively and catch different types of edge cases and check for a lot of scenarios, is building a mini battleship game. All right. Now, you don't have to build the UI, but code all the logic. So this is one of the assignments that we have in the DevSlopes Academy in one of the JavaScript modules. And you can build this game out using any programming language. It can be done in Python, Swift, Kotlin, JavaScript, whatever. And it's a terminal-based game, all right, where you build player one, and then you have to build the grid, and you have to randomly place the ships on the grid. They can't overlap. They can't go out of bounds of the grid. And then there's user inputs. And then you can even do a multiplayer where there's a computer who does random hits and everything. So that's a really good project to build, because it is just going to stretch your brain so far to learn how to write logic with any type of programming language. So that's a really cool one. Some other good beginner projects to do is I would do full stack projects. Okay, you can build like a Twitter clone app, a chat clone app like Slack, for an example. You could do an e-commerce store, something like Amazon. What else is there? There's like an Uber clone. If you want to build like an Uber styled app with like live data and everything, and work with sockets, those are good projects to do. Let's see. Best way to prepare yourself for an interview, Zane. That's a great question. The interview process is, so one of the nice things about the interview process is, so for different programming language, what I would do is Google most common interview questions, Python or JavaScript or Swift, and that way it's going to get you a good overlying reference of different coding terms and terminology and kind of the theory of programming. Okay, so there's technical questions that they're going to ask you. All right, they're also going to do coding challenges. Okay, so that's why I say spend time doing coding challenges. Don't just like only build projects, do coding challenges so you can learn how to come up with creative solutions and learn how to think programmatically. Okay, and that's going to help you with the coding challenges part of it. There's also some interviews, companies that have you do a take-home project. They'll give you a list of requirements, and then you go home and they'll give you like 3 or 4 days or whatever to build out the project, and you bring it back and show them the GitHub repo or whatnot. And so that's why building projects on your own is also important to prepare for these interviews. So you know how to build project architectures, project planning, and take those incremental steps of how to build a complete piece of software. All right. Let's see. I wonder if a full stack developer is also fluent in Java and microservices. So, I mean, Java is very, very specific. All right, to full stack. Like, I'm a full stack developer. I don't know Java, but I've worked with plenty of microservices before. So yeah, it just really depends on the requirements of the project and what type of full stack, what extent you're going to be taking that into. Let's see, when is the best time to switch from tutorials to projects? That's a fantastic question. So I mentioned earlier about this tutorial hell, okay? This endless learning cycle where you never feel like you know enough to start going out on your own, all right? The best time to start building your own projects is really the sooner the better, all right? Once you've gone through tutorials and you've built your to-do app or your Hello World app and a basic task manager app or whatever, and you understand the fundamental concepts of programming. Okay, you don't have to be an expert or 100% proficient in any of it, but once you understand conceptually how to use the different type of tools in programming, when to use arrays and what data structures and whatnot you should be using, then start building your own projects, because it's going to force you to figure out and find those answers. It's never too early to start building your own projects. Let's see. When are the weekly meetings for the JavaScript challenge? Awesome, Trevor. So it sounds like you're in the 30-day JavaScript coding challenge. That's awesome. Those are usually held on Saturdays. Brandon's in charge of those. I know for the web development students, I do my meetups on, you know what? You actually might be in the meetups that I hold. I think Brandon's been joining the 30-day coding challenge students with the Web Academy students. And I hold those live weekly meetups every Saturday at 9 a.m. Central Time. Okay, that's 7 a.m. Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Pacific or Eastern Time. All right, and I'll post a Zoom link in the Discord in the general channel, and I'll tag everyone so you'll get notified. Um, cool stuff. Let's move on to TikTok. Let's see what we have going on here. All right, let's find some of these first questions here. Let's see how to keep up with the consistency while coding and losing motivation. Oh, that can be a rough cycle. I was in the same boat when I was first learning to code because I got discouraged coding and I felt like I wasn't progressing as fast as I wanted to. I started to lose motivation. But you really got to, keep your eye on the end goal, right? So programming, the thing that drove me to become that made me want to be successful in programming, it was the lifestyle that I was after. Most programmers I know, they're able to work remotely. They can live anywhere they want to in the world. They can work from anywhere. They get to spend time at home, be home with their family. And like me, I work remotely. I cater my job around my lifestyle. So if I need to go to any of my kids' events or whatnot, like I can go to those. If I have appointments that I need to be to, I can just do those. As long as I'm coding and I'm delivering results, like it's all good. And so that's why I got into programming, is because I wanted the lifestyle, the freedom, and it also has very generous salaries. Once I got into coding, I stopped living the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle, which has been a game changer for me and my family. Um, what else do we have? Yeah, and someone else said, "Don't overdo it, have time management." So, um, yeah, you don't want to, burn yourself out. But here's the thing, like as far as consistency goes, you need to be spending at least an hour and a half a day, 5 days a week to learn how to code. All right? Because when you're learning to code, you're learning a couple of things here. Okay, you're learning a brand new language, you're learning a brand new way of writing, and you're learning a brand new way of thinking programmatically to break complex problems down into small incremental steps. All right. So there's a lot of different learning that's going on when you're learning to code, and it does take patience. It could take anywhere from 6 months to a year to become proficient with programming. Okay. Programming is a journey, it's not a quick fix to anything. Before I got my first job, um, let's see, I got my first job, I think around 10 or 12 months after I first was learning to code. Now, I started doing freelance work earlier than that. Like I started doing freelance work at like 4 months, just building basic static websites. But my first actual job I landed about around 1 year. Let's see, what's the best age to start thinking of my little 8-year-old girl? Hey, Terry, I think that's your name, Terry. Um, the best age to start, heck, she can start at 8 years old. So I've got an 8-year-old. Well, she's 9 now. I've got a 9-year-old daughter, but at 8 was the first time that I introduced her to programming. She was already doing a little like dabbling in iOS development, working with Swift. She thought building iPhone apps would be really cool. She didn't like pursue it like hardcore, but she tested it out. We did it for about a month, and she liked it. We just haven't really gone back to it, but I would say 8 years old. Once their attention span is, maybe around an hour, is a good age. But yeah, 8 years old is when I started introducing my kids to code. Let's see, what projects were your favorite for beginners? I've done like a calculator and stuff like that. So my favorite projects as a beginner is building the Battleship game. I thought that was awesome. Building a memory game, like a little card game where you flip the cards and have to try to match those. Really, the full stack projects were my favorite, and I did it. All the ones that I listed earlier are ones that I've built. So I've built a Slack clone, a Twitter clone, an e-commerce store that was, a clone of Amazon, and I've done an Uber app clone. I think those are really good, real world, practical projects to do because there's apps like that you're going to be working on at a real job, and so those projects I liked a lot, and it helped me in my development career. Let's see, Bayo, he's a software developer. Hey, how you doing, man? Let's see, I'd love to help people with coding. Yeah, it is, Bayo. It's very, very rewarding to be able to help people learn how to code and then to watch their lives transform. I've got students in the DevSlopes Academy already, and they haven't even finished it yet. And I've got students already making thousands of dollars a month doing freelance work. All right. And then I have another handful of students who have already landed jobs as developers, and they're not even done with the academy. And it is so, satisfying to see their lives just transform and change, and the new lifestyle that they're able to create for themselves and for their families and stuff. It's very rewarding. Let's see. I also have to do a revision in math. I started with pre-algebra because I have huge holes. Yeah, programming requires a little bit of math. You don't have to be like a mathematician or anything, but like knowing basic algebra and you'll be good. Awesome. Click Hero says they applied yesterday and got an appointment for Wednesday. Can't wait. That's awesome. I'm super stoked for you to, set up your call with DevSlopes. And yeah, what academy are you checking out? Are you doing iOS, Android, or web? You should do web because then I can work with you. I'd be stoked to work with you. But the other academies are great too. Super cool instructors. How much is it, Mr. Slopes? I don't know. I don't know the exact price of it, but just get set up with your free call, and we've got tons of different pricing options. Is 15 too early? No, Trouble Bubble 28. 15 is not too early. I want to say that we've got a 15-year-old in our academy right now, or they've done some of our DevSlopes programs before. But I know we've had somebody as young as 15 be involved in our programs. And then the oldest was a gentleman. He's 55. He did our iOS Academy, and he finished it and actually got a job as an iOS developer at 55, which is cool. There's a huge demand for programmers out there. There's 3 programming jobs to every 1 developer. So it's a really cool market to be a part of, and there's a lot of opportunity. Technology is going to be around forever, and software, I mean, that's the day and age we live in. The world needs software developers. Let's see, projects like what? I just listed a bunch of projects, and they can really be done in any programming language. Is Python a good start for a good starter language? So veggie type. So here's what I always recommend. People ask me that question a lot. Like, is this language good for beginners or this, or what should I learn as a beginner? So here's the reality. Okay. You need to first, the first thing that you need to do is decide your learning path. What kind of things do you want to build with software? All right. Do you want to build websites and web apps? Do you want to build iPhone apps, Android apps? Do you want to work on AI, machine learning? Do you want to work on embedded systems and work at NASA, working on robots that go to Mars? Like, what is it you want to build? And then that's going to determine the programming language that you want to learn. So, for an example, Python has a very broad general use. Okay. You can do web development with it, backend development, game development, and it's also the most popular language for AI and machine learning. All right. And Python is a good starter language because it has a really clean syntax to it, and it's fairly, easy to learn compared to other programming languages like C++, which has an insanely steep learning curve. But again, the other thing about learning a programming language is don't just start with one language and then learn another and then learn another and learn another. All right. You're just spreading yourself thin, and it's just too much information with what it takes to learn coding. Pick a language and stick with it for a year, all right, before you try going out and learning anything new. Now, it's a little bit different when you're working with web development because you've got HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then you move into something like React, for an example. But all of those are intertwined and they're all similar, all right? But if you're doing iOS apps, you're going to learn Swift, stick for it with a year. If you're doing Android, you're going to use Kotlin, stick with it for a year before you start venturing out into these other languages, okay? Because you want to learn a technology stack that lines up with what you want to do with programming so you can start freelancing or get a job. Okay, you don't want to just learn things to learn things. Pick a specific path. Okay, I'm going to take some Instagram questions, and we'll get back to YouTube and TikTok. We've got, 4 minutes left here. All right. I'm not going to be able to get to everyone's questions, but I will get through as many as I can. All right, Instagram, I'm just going to have to kind of start in the middle. So if anybody posted questions in the beginning, I apologize. Okay, somebody asked me what language I started with. I started with technically the mean stack, Mongo Express, Angular, and Node. And then over time, after about a year and a half, I switched over to the MERN stack. So I switched out Angular with React, and I fell in love with React, and I've stuck with that. I know other programming languages. I've built production apps with other languages and dabbled in other technologies, but the MERN stack is what I work with 90% of the time. Let's see, what else do we have? How much time will it take to have your first job? It really depends. I would say anywhere from 8 months to a year to be proficient in programming, where you can start, applying for jobs. One of the things that's going to help you on that journey to getting a job is freelancing and building projects. Okay, so I started freelancing when I was first learning to code. I started freelancing after 4 months of first getting into it. Okay, I was only building very, very basic static websites. I didn't start building larger projects until about 8 months in. But doing freelance work really helped me get my first job and started me out at a higher salary than a computer science degree graduate. All right. And that's because I had real world experience under my belt. The employer was able to be like, wow, this person has, people have paid this person to build projects for them. They've got real world experience. And so it started me out at a higher salary as well for my first job. And it took me less time. I didn't have to go to college, get a computer science degree, spend 4 years doing college and trying to get a job. I was able to do this in a year. Uh, college is, fine, whatever, but it's like the slowest route you can possibly take to getting into programming. It's the slowest way that you can do it. Let's see. Someone says that they're a daily visitor. Hat is looking cool. Yeah, guys, this is a Harry Mack at or a Harry Mack hat. I don't know if anybody throw some hearts and love in the chats if you know who Harry Mack is. He's a freestyle rapper. I've never been into rap before, but this guy, he's just brilliant. He's very entertaining to watch and to listen to his freestyling. But yeah, I picked up one of his hats because I support what he does. He's super cool. But you should YouTube him, Harry Mack. Anyways, enough about that. Um, let's see. Let's see. Tosh is asking if we have a WhatsApp group or Telegram group. We do have it's a Slack group, and it's called DevSlopes Unofficial. All right. So it's a DevSlopes community. DevSlopes instructors, sometimes we hop in there, but DevSlopes has taught like over 350,000 students to learn how to code. So it's a massive community of other like-minded individuals and developers. And so people are always posting questions in there, and students are answering questions all over the place. A lot of those students even have jobs as programmers. If you wanted to join the DevSlopes Academy, our actual program, and work with a coach and mentor like me, we've got our own special Discord community for our Academy students. But yeah, we do have a Slack community called DevSlopes Unofficial that's managed by a few students of ours, like prior students of DevSlopes who have gone off to get jobs and be successful with coding. Swift UI or UI Kit, which to learn? I would personally pick UI Kit, and here's why. Swift UI is the new thing. Apple recently released it. It's amazing. All right. But as far as the industry goes, Swift UI just hasn't been widely adopted yet. So if you're looking to get a job, UI Kit is going to be more useful. All right. Unless you're doing freelance work, then go ahead and learn Swift UI. It is easier and fantastic to work with. But if you're looking to get a job, UI Kit is going to be more beneficial to you. All right. Let's see. We're out of time. I'm gonna answer one more question from Instagram since I didn't spend a lot of time over here. Let's see. I'm gonna skip a lot of questions. Sorry, everybody. I love you, but I'm just gonna pick one of these last questions. Let's see. Do you have any data science courses in DevSlopes? No, we don't. That's not really a programming question, but let me see if there's anything else. I'm gonna scroll through all these. Let's see what we find on YouTube. Let's see. Do you find Googling as cheating? I'm trying to find a way to write a function that will invert the phrase like Yoda does, hello world, to world hello. Tom, that's a great question. No, it is not cheating. Here is a reality. You will spend 90% of your time as a developer Googling to find answers and solutions. You're going to go to Stack Overflow. You're going to see solutions of people that have come up with something and take that and maybe, alternate it just a little bit, refactor it differently to work for your specific needs. You're going to find articles or tutorials, and then you're going to use those solutions. All right. You're going to be Googling the heck out of things. Programming is so massive. It is ridiculous to memorize everything. Now, over time, you will learn the foundational concepts, so you'll know what approach to take to coming up with solutions. All right. But you should be Googling the freaking heck out of things. All right. It is not cheating, but do understand. Here's, I guess, my caveat to that. Don't just Google things and copy and paste something from Stack Overflow. Understand programming enough to be able to understand what it is you're actually copying from somebody else and pasting into your code. You probably don't want it exactly like that. You should use it as a reference or a guide of, this is how I should start this, but then cater it to your own needs. Don't just copy and paste. But yeah, you'll be using Google 90% of the time as a developer, so it's not cheating at all. All right, that's all the questions that I'm taking today. We're going to be live again, same time tomorrow. Okay, I'm live every single day, Monday through Friday at 3:30 Central Time. So be sure to jump on either Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. I stream on all of those at the same time. So again, thank you everybody for hopping on and joining me today. Again, my name is Jason. I'm a full stack developer here at DevSlopes. We are a learn to code company. If you're interested in learning to code, want to work with a mentor, someone like me, get some coaching, then go to devslopes.com/apply. And we also have these really fun 30-day coding challenges. Trevor over here on YouTube, he's in our 30-day coding challenge right now. So if you want to sign up for the next challenge, go to 30daycodechallenge.com and sign up for the next JavaScript challenge. You'll have 30 days of coding challenges. You'll have a mentor and a coach that you'll be able to work with the entire 30 days. And then you'll have live weekly meetups hosted by me and the other instructor, Brandon. All right. So you get really cool access to all these things, and it's really fun 30-day code challenge. It's designed for absolute beginners. And if you do have experience, it's going to level up your skills. All right. So that's all for today. Until next time, stay safe, stay positive, and code on. All right. See you tomorrow.